Somewhere along the way you were taught to care, to feel deeply, to take things personally, to let the world's chaos seep into your very core. And let's be honest, that was your first mistake. Every heartbreak you've ever endured, every gut-wrenching betrayal you've suffered, every stinging insult that ever broke you down, it all stemmed from this one fundamental flaw. You allowed the world to touch your inner world. You let it reach you. Machiavelli, on the other hand, he didn't. He was a different breed entirely. He watched from a distance. He studied people not with the soft gaze of empathy, but with the cold, surgical precision of a scientist examining a disease. Not with emotion, but with pure, unadulterated calculation. And he understood something the weak never will, something that's uncomfortable to hear but profoundly true. If you genuinely want peace, if you want unshakable inner calm, you must first destroy your sensitivity. You must systematically train yourself to become immune to love, to hate, to effusive praise, to cutting shame. Think about it. No one can truly hurt you when you are emotionally invisible. No one can manipulate you when you feel nothing that they expect you to feel. And most powerfully, no one can defeat you when your heart is untouchable and your mind, your own sovereign mind, is the only God you worship. This isn't about being cold, by the way. This is about being truly free. In this video, we're going to show you how to disappear from the clutches of emotional slavery and how to rise as your final, most powerful form. A man no one can affect. A man, frankly, Machiavelli himself would have feared. You want to become truly untouchable, right? You want to live in a way where no betrayal, no insult, no profound loss, no personal attack can ever truly shake you from your core. But before you can achieve that, you must first systematically destroy the illusion that keeps you weak. And that illusion is the insidious belief that you somehow matter, emotionally, to others in the way you matter to yourself. Most people walk through life with a tragically naive misunderstanding. They believe that if they are good, if they are honest, if they are loyal, that others will automatically treat them with the same consideration. They believe that their emotional openness, their vulnerability, will somehow magically be met with genuine care and reciprocated warmth. But Machiavelli understood a far darker, more inconvenient truth. People do not, primarily, act out of pure love or altruism. They act out of self-interest. Your value to others is fundamentally conditional. You are only as important, only as cherished, only as relevant as the benefit you currently provide them. And the very moment that benefit disappears, that utility vanishes, so too does their loyalty. This isn't cruelty despite how it feels. It's simply nature. And the moment you truly accept this, not just intellectually but deep in your gut, that's when you begin to free yourself from the invisible chains of emotional slavery. People suffer, excruciatingly, because they mistakenly assume their pain matters deeply to others. They take every betrayal personally. They spiral into dark holes over every perceived disrespect. But here's the brutal reality. Those actions are rarely, if ever, actually about you. They are almost always about what others stand to gain or what they stand to lose. Machiavelli, with his characteristic bluntness, would remind you, most of what people do to you is not personal. It's strategic. If someone insults you, it's often to elevate themselves in the eyes of others. If someone ignores you, it's often a deliberate tactic to make you chase. If someone lies to you, it's because the truth simply doesn't serve their immediate purpose. And when you react, when you get angry, when you feel profoundly offended, when your heart breaks into a million pieces, you give them exactly what they want: power. They see your weakness. They know they can reach you. They know they can hit that emotional trigger. And that, my friend, is precisely how control works. If you want to become immune to manipulation, if you want to be truly untouchable, you must stop giving people that kind of access. Stop taking things personally. Stop expecting fairness from a world that doesn't operate on it. Stop naively assuming people act from a shared conscience. Instead, start watching. Start calculating. Ask yourself, what does this person gain from treating me this way? What role do I unknowingly play in their larger agenda? That crucial shift, from viewing the world emotionally to viewing it strategically, is the absolute beginning of your strength. But to become truly unaffected, to reach that peak of emotional invincibility, you must also systematically eliminate the behaviors that expose you. Stop over-explaining yourself. People don't genuinely care about your elaborate reasons. They care about results. Period. Stop seeking sympathy. Most people will tolerate your pain only until they figure out a way to use it against you. Stop oversharing your doubts, your deep wounds, your lingering guilt. These are not truths to be displayed for public consumption. They are valuable, dangerous tools that others can and will twist against you. Machiavelli would famously advise, guard your inner world like a fortress. Say less. Show less. Become utterly unreadable. Because the less they see, the less they can attack. This world, contrary to popular belief, does not reward emotional depth. It rewards emotional discipline. Most people are slaves to their feelings. They rise and fall based on someone else's fickle attention, someone else's fleeting approval, someone else's casual rejection. But you, if you choose this path, you must build your worth on something entirely untouchable. When you no longer need validation, when praise doesn't inflate your ego and criticism doesn't shatter your spirit, you become something rare, something dangerous. That is the precise moment you step into true, unadulterated freedom. You are not cold. You are calm. You are not numb. You are clear. And in that profound clarity you gain the ultimate power, indifference. Indifference is not carelessness. It is not apathy. It is, in fact, the ultimate form of control. It is the profound ability to choose what truly deserves your reaction, and what deserves your silence. It is the power to simply walk away from anything that consistently weakens you. It is the quiet, unbreakable ability to look someone in the eye and without saying a word communicate, "You cannot affect me. Not anymore." Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved." But beyond even that is something greater, to fear nothing, and to expect nothing from anyone. That, my friend, is how you become truly immune. That is how you silence the world. That is how no one and nothing will ever affect you again. If you genuinely want to become truly untouchable, you must meticulously destroy the second and perhaps deepest root of your vulnerability, your emotions. Most people are, whether they admit it or not, entirely ruled by their feelings. They might pretend to be logical, they might loudly proclaim their strength, but watch closely. One sharp insult can shatter them. They might boast about their confidence, but one casual rejection can utterly ruin their entire sense of self-worth. That's because they are not in control. Their emotions are. Machiavelli, with his chilling insight, understood that a ruler, or for that matter, any truly powerful person, must never be governed by feeling. Emotion, to him, was not a human connection. It was weakness. Emotion was exposure. Emotion was the precise crack through which your enemies, your rivals, your manipulators, would inevitably enter. Think about it. If someone can consistently trigger your anger, they don't just own your reaction. They own your entire immediate response. If someone can reliably trigger your sadness, they control your very spirit, your outlook on life. And if someone can skillfully manipulate your guilt, they, in effect, control your most important decisions. You are simply not free if others can provoke a predictable response out of you. To be truly free, you must become emotionally disciplined. Not dead, not numb, but absolutely deliberate. You must learn to use your emotions like powerful tools, not like cumbersome chains. If charm will serve your purpose, use it. If silence will intimidate and create leverage, then remain absolutely quiet. If channeled rage will create the necessary fear to get what you want, then channel it precisely. But never let your emotions use you. Never let them erupt uncontrolled like a wildfire. Never, ever, let anyone see what truly affects you, what truly hits your core, because the very moment they do, they will use it against you. This world is not kind to raw openness. It consistently rewards composure, mystery, and profound self-mastery. The man who feels everything loudly, who wears his heart on his sleeve, will always be controlled by those who are disciplined enough to feel nothing, or at least show nothing. So, learn to sit with discomfort without instinctively reacting. Learn to hear insults without needing to defend yourself. Learn to experience pain, even profound pain, without rushing to confession or seeking solace. Most people, when they hurt, look desperately for someone to talk to, someone to unload their emotional weight onto. That, my friend, is weakness disguised as honesty. You want strength? Carry your own pain. Fix your own chaos. Sit in silence and rebuild your mind in private. There is no honor in public vulnerability, despite what modern society tells you. There is only danger. Because the more you reveal, the easier you are to destroy. Machiavelli would tell you to be like a fox among wolves. Smile when it's expected. Laugh when it's strategically advantageous. But trust no one, and I mean no one, with your innermost life. Keep your real emotions locked tightly behind an impenetrable mask. Let the world see only what is useful for them to see, only what serves your agenda. You don't owe anyone the truth of your feelings. Because the uncomfortable truth is, most people don't genuinely care, and the few who pretend to will inevitably use it when it suits their purpose. Stop seeking emotional safety from others. Become your own safety. Stop needing someone else to validate your feelings. Validate them yourself, internally, then suppress them until the moment they might strategically serve you. Self-control is not just a virtue, it is a weapon. The less you react, the more people will subtly fear you. The more silent you become, the more powerfully you appear. There is immense strength in unpredictability. When people know exactly how you'll respond, they can prepare for it. They can set traps. But if you remain unreadable, calm when they expect you to be angry, silent when they anticipate outrage, even smiling faintly when they expect sadness, you win psychological dominance. You become a mystery they simply cannot decode. And in that profound confusion they lose their edge. The key is to meticulously train yourself. Emotional detachment is not natural for most humans. It is built, painstakingly, through relentless repetition and brutal self-discipline. Observe your triggers. Who gets to you? What specific words make you instantly react? What situations make you feel undeniably weak? Now, systematically destroy them. Break the pattern. When someone insults you, don't respond. Let their words hang in the air, unanswered. When someone disrespects you, let them talk into a void. When someone leaves you, don't chase, don't beg, don't even look back. Learn to say nothing. Learn to do nothing. Let your silence scream volumes. Because silence is not weakness. Silence is control. Silence makes people wonder. It fundamentally shifts the power dynamic. The less you say, the more they project their own fears onto you. The less you show, the more they quietly fear your unpredictable nature. Machiavelli famously said, "A wise man must appear merciful, faithful, humane, and upright, but must know how to be the opposite when necessary." That is emotional power, to precisely show what works in a given moment, and to meticulously hide what's real. Control is everything. And you simply cannot control the world until you have first, absolutely, controlled yourself. You must build an inner world so powerful, so self-sufficient, that nothing outside of you can shake it. That is not easy. It requires radical, brutal honesty. You must ask yourself, who am I without validation? Who am I when no one is watching? When no one is around to applaud or criticize? Most people in their quiet moments don't like the answer. That's why they desperately chase distractions. Endless relationships, constant attention, fleeting praise. But Machiavelli would advise the exact opposite. He would tell you to retreat inward. To make your mind your sovereign kingdom. Your thoughts your impregnable fortress. Your own internal standards your unwavering compass. When you stop relying on others for meaning, for purpose, for validation, you become truly free. No one can take something from you that you never gave them power over in the first place. This doesn't mean you become a loner or a recluse. It means that your fundamental sense of identity is no longer negotiable. You no longer need someone to love you to feel lovable. You no longer need applause to believe you are worthy. You no longer need company to avoid the profound silence. Most people fear silence because it mercilessly exposes how weak their inner foundation truly is. They need constant noise to distract them from their own emptiness. But silence is your ultimate test. If you can sit alone for hours with your own thoughts, not panicking, not desperately reaching for your phone, not collapsing, you are becoming something profoundly dangerous. You are becoming solid, unmoved, self-contained. This is the very essence of Machiavellian power: to need nothing, to own nothing, and to feel nothing that can be used against you. Build your discipline. Build your routines. Build a life so rich, so fulfilling, so utterly purposeful, that others become a bonus, a welcomed addition, but never, ever a requirement. Stop outsourcing your happiness. Stop depending on someone else to make you feel whole. If someone offers you love, accept it but never need it. If someone praises you, acknowledge it but never chase it. The moment you need anything from anyone, you've already lost. The game is over. You're no longer in control. People can smell desperation. They will use it. They will control you with it. But when you truly don't need their approval, their affection, or even their very presence, you become untouchable. You become the one they try to impress. You become the one they chase. Because the one who needs nothing is the one who holds all the power. Machiavelli would famously say, "Always appear to be what others want, but never let them know what you truly need." Better yet, need nothing. Strip yourself of the lies that keep you dependent. Kill the habits that keep you emotionally weak. Learn to walk alone, not because you reject others, but because you no longer collapse without them. This is your power. When your identity is forged in solitude, and your peace is built on your own terms, you become truly immune. They can come and go. Love you or hate you. Betray you or forget you. It simply won't matter because you were never theirs to break in the first place. Now you understand what it truly takes. Not just to survive but to become invincible. To walk through this world untouched by its noise, immune to betrayal, indifferent to empty praise, and utterly unreadable to everyone who tries to control you. What you are building is not just strength. It is sovereignty. You are no longer just a person in the crowd, begging to be seen, chasing validation, fearing rejection. You are now something else entirely, something rare. A silent force. A presence that cannot be manipulated, broken, or even truly moved. And it happened not through violence or arrogance, but through control. Control of your thoughts. Control of your reactions. Control of your needs. Because in a world where everyone else is ruled by raw emotion, the one who controls himself controls everyone. Machiavelli never wrote for the moral man. He wrote for the man who wants to win. And to win in this world, you simply cannot play by the rules written for sheep. You must see reality as it is, cold, strategic, often brutal. You must stop expecting it to be kind and start using its very cruelty as fuel. You don't need to scream. You don't need to threaten. You don't need to explain yourself. The strongest man in the room is the one who says nothing because he doesn't need to prove anything. He already knows. He already sees. He already owns the outcome in his own mind. Let others run wild with emotion. Let them chase status, attention, chaos. You stay still. Watch. Observe. Respond only when it profoundly matters. And when you do, make your move final, precise, and silent. A king never argues. A king never reacts. A king chooses. A king commands. That's who you become when nothing affects you anymore. And you must understand, being unaffected does not mean you feel nothing. It means you control what truly deserves your emotion and what absolutely deserves your silence. It means your mood is not set by people who don't matter. It means your decisions are not shaped by fear or guilt or fleeting desire. It means your peace is not a prize others give you. It's a throne you built yourself, and from which you rule your own internal kingdom. There will be people who try desperately to pull you back into weakness. They'll say you've changed, that you're too distant, too cold, too selfish. Let them speak. Let them fall away. Let them choke on the expectations you never agreed to carry. You don't owe anyone your vulnerability. You don't owe anyone your peace. Your life is not a service for the comfort of others. It is a battlefield, and you are now trained for war. Every insult ignored. Every betrayal expected. Every loss endured in silence. You are now untouchable because you chose to become so, through rigorous discipline, through the absolute rejection of emotional slavery, through brutal, uncompromising honesty with yourself. You killed your weakness before the world could ever use it against you. And that, my friend, is true freedom. If you genuinely want to become truly immune to the chaotic churn of the world, you must master the very environment you live in. And that means understanding people not as they pretend to be, not as they present themselves on the surface, but as they truly are, in their raw, unvarnished essence. Most people walk through life blind, clinging desperately to illusions. They believe in masks. They trust words. They judge faces. They mistake surface politeness for deep loyalty, empty flattery for genuine respect, and fleeting emotions for profound truths. But Machiavelli knew better. He fundamentally believed that most people are relentlessly driven by ambition, by deep-seated fear, by insatiable greed, or by quiet desperation. Even when they smile at you, even when they shower you with compliments, they are always calculating. Everyone you meet has a motive. Every friend, every ally, every romantic partner. Even the ones who seem genuinely kind are, at a core level, guided by some form of self-interest. The monumental mistake weak people consistently make is thinking, "Oh, he would never do that to me," or "she's not like the others." But here's the cold, hard truth. The moment someone is given power over you, whether that power is emotional, financial, or social, they change. Or more accurately, they simply reveal what was already there, lying dormant beneath the surface. This is precisely why trust, in its naive form, is so dangerous. Not because betrayal is a rare event, but because, in the Machiavellian sense, betrayal is almost the rule. If you're genuinely shocked when someone turns on you, it means you never truly understood them to begin with. A Machiavellian mind doesn't just expect betrayal, it plans for it. It even, in certain strategic situations, uses it. You must stop judging people by their words. Instead, start watching their patterns. Don't ask, "What is this person saying?" Ask, "What are they avoiding saying?" Don't ask, "Do they like me?" Ask, "What do they want from me?" What is their true objective? Every smile hides a need. Every praise hides a motive. Once you meticulously train your mind to think like this, you stop being disappointed. You stop being blindsided. You stop being naive. This isn't about becoming paranoid, it's about becoming profoundly perceptive. You need to become the kind of person who listens with silence and watches with careful distance. Because most of what's truly real is never said out loud. People reveal themselves in small, unguarded moments. In the way they casually talk about others, in how they treat people with no status, in the envy they fail to perfectly hide when you succeed. When you achieve something, learn to listen for the subtext. Learn to detect the subtle attempts at emotional leverage. When someone says, "I care," ask yourself, what do they gain from caring in this situation? When someone says, "I'll never leave," ask yourself, what happens when staying becomes inconvenient for them? This isn't cynicism, it's clarity. The world, with its comforting illusions, will try to shame you for thinking this way. They'll call you cold, untrusting, bitter. Let them. They only fear what they cannot fool. A clear, unclouded mind cannot be manipulated, and that terrifies people who rely on confusion and emotional fog to control others. To be Machiavellian is not to reject human connection entirely. It's to control it. To decide precisely who gets your precious attention, who gets direct access to your inner world, and who gets absolutely nothing. You do not owe your trust to anyone. It is earned slowly, deliberately, and it is lost with blinding speed. Set traps of silence. Test their loyalty. Offer nothing you cannot absolutely afford to lose. And always remember the fundamental truth: the person who knows less loses. In every room, know more than you say and say less than you think. Let others consistently underestimate you. It makes them careless. Let others assume you're weak. It gives you the absolute upper hand. Never show all your cards. Never fully explain your strategy. Make your life exceptionally hard to read, and your thoughts even harder to predict. This is how you survive among liars, users, and cowards. You become unreadable. You become untouchable. In Machiavelli's world, the prince who trusts too easily is invariably the first to fall. But the one who watches from the shadows, who plays the game but never fully reveals his hand, that is the man who outlasts them all. You want peace? Stop trusting appearances. You want power? Start meticulously studying motives. You want to be unaffected? Learn to predict betrayal long before it happens. The man who sees what's coming is the one who never bleeds. And that man is who you must become. If you want to reach the final, ultimate stage of being truly unaffected, you must now address the most dangerous vulnerability of all: emotional dependency. Most people don't even realize how profoundly, how deeply, they rely on others for their entire sense of self. They base their worth on how people see them, on how they are treated, on how much attention or affection they receive. And when that external validation disappears, they collapse. They panic. They chase. They beg. That is not love. That is addiction. Machiavelli would say, "The man who depends on the affection of others will always be their servant. He will betray himself just to keep their approval. He will abandon reason for the sake of attention. And he will surrender his power for the illusion of belonging." You must break this cycle. You must become someone who does not emotionally depend on anyone. Not their love, not their time, not their praise, not their presence. Build yourself in such a way that you would remain exactly the same, fundamentally, whether you were surrounded by a cheering crowd or completely alone. Because in this world you will be alone at times. People will leave. People will change. People will forget you. And when they do, your strength must remain utterly untouched. That strength must come from something internal, something untouchable, something unbreakable. Machiavelli once said that it is better to be feared than loved. But what he truly meant was this: it is better to be in control. Better to be prepared. Better to be immune. Because love fades. Loyalty breaks. But control, that lasts. Control is the root of all power. And now you have it. You're no longer the man who breaks at the first sign of chaos. You're the one who walks straight into it, unaffected, calm, cold, certain. You are not moved by storms. You are the storm. No one and nothing will ever affect you again.